Okay, we are going to make a reflection. So, I have my Polyjuice potion here. I do have a background, but we'll apply that later. I didn't do a very good job taking off the edges. I actually used the pen tool. We can look at that quick. So I'll paste my Polyjuice here. So I created a path using the pen tool. There we go. So you're clicking, and then before you let go, you can actually create some handles, and I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. I'll do this quick. I'm like, wow, this looks ridiculous. But we can actually play with all these points the same way you can in Illustrator. When it's like this, if you go up into here and hit paths, the one I have right now, let's do bottle and number 2, because I already did it once. And so now I actually have this path always. So then when you go to your white cursor here, I can actually start playing around with handles and stuff. And you can actually get it nice and real. And you can add points in the same way you do in Illustrator. A is the shortcut to get to that white brush. Or white cursor, which lets you play with the points. So for curved shapes, sometimes this is an easier way to select. And then, yeah, just make sure you remember it's in your path thing here, because so now if this was what I wanted, obviously I didn't fix it perfectly, but I can hold control and click that shape, and then boom, I've got my selection here, which means then I can go to layers, and if I hit mask, it's gonna mask what's inside of here. So I'm gonna hit Control Shift I, and it's selecting everything around it, and I did it backwards. Control Z, Control Shift I. Is it Control Shift I? No, that's not what I want. I'm hitting the wrong button. You can just mask. No. Control Shift I is the inverse, and then mask it. There we go. I don't know what I was hitting. So then, yay, V, there's our lovely Polyjuice potion, but we'll keep this one. So delete. Okay. So that's how you can use the pen tool, and then keep in mind your paths are here. Obviously this path is here, but I have nothing there anymore, but it's kind of cool if you ever need to use them again. Yeah, like that. Okay, so I'm going to hold Alt and grab that layer, and it actually duplicates it for me, which is kind of neat. Okay, I don't want to see my paths. How do I hide them? Okay. I'm going to hit Control T and flip it and kind of put it underneath. Now, the bottom of a reflection is not going to look this angle. So what you're going to need to do is the same way we cut off the top of that person's head when we did the tutorial. You're going to kind of make a fake bottom with that marquee tool. So with this, Control Shift I, E for eraser, so that you're kind of making a new bottom. Control D. Okay. Actually, before, I'm going to step backwards. I want to make a new layer, and let's hit I with that. Whoosh! Color it in. It doesn't really, kind of looks awkward. Okay, let's bend it and see if this helps. So we're on this layer. Control T to transform. You're going to hit warp, and then if you go up to the top here, you can actually hit arch. Ooh, that's what we'll do, and then we'll cut it off. Okay, so I'm gonna hit escape, and I'm gonna step backwards. Stepping backwards is Alt Control Z Z Z to before taking that off. So before I chop the top off, I'm gonna warp it. So Control T, warp, and then we're gonna do a lower arch, and you can play around. That is not what I want. Arc upper. I want arc lower. Let's do a -20 and okay. So now this is where we're going to slice it off to make the bottom. Man, I'm crushing it. Let's do this on a new layer so that it doesn't erase anything. Yeah. So then I want to hit B for brush. Color this in. Just pick a color that's similar to what you're trying to copy. Control D. So now I have this bottom shape. I'm going to hit Control T, and let's make it match better. Control T, and we are going to distort it. Okay, so not perfectly realistic, but now it kind of looks like this is the bottom. I think if we went Control T and warped this a little bit ourselves, that might... I feel like Control T, a warp. I think we want... No, arc upper. That should have been what we wanted. We're gonna make do. Okay. So you get all that together. Yay! I want to put that guy on top. On top. There we go. So now, I mean, it depends on like what's reflecting, but now you can kind of see that this is the bottom, this is my top layer. Now, that's my fake bottom. There's my reflection. I'm going to hold Shift, select both of those, and I'm going to group them together. Now when they're grouped, I can mask that, and I'm going to hit G on my keyboard, and my gradient tool up here pops up. And now, this is kind of neat. You can select, you can see how you're making a gradient in your layer. So that's kind of cool, and you can change that around. But basically, here is my simple reflection that took me 18 tries. So, yay!